The following show contains views and opinions that may not be suitable for all audiences. Audience discretion is advised.
This week on Thespian Talk, Black Lives Matter. That's it. That's the show. Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to Thespian Talk. I am your host, Gomer the Ranting Thespian. With me this week is Rosen Thorn.
Ah!
Yes, that is a good summary of the week.
That's a big old spike in the recording.
Yeah. Oh, and also a good summary of the last 2 weeks, because we weren't here last week. I'll explain that in a moment, but first, Michelle is here.
Hey!
Yeah. So, we didn't have one last week because scheduling conflicts happened on my end. For those who don't know, I stay with my folks because, it's cheap. Because you got to be pragmatic somehow. And before anybody asks, yes, I do realize privilege, blah, 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 blah. I realize this. Not everybody has this. I am incredibly lucky. This will be impertinent later in the show. But it also means sometimes they plan things that kind of fucks with your schedule a little bit. Yeah. So this house is old, and the air ducts that used to be up in our ceiling and our roof and everything, they were also old. So my dad did a little bartering with the local air conditioning guy. Hello, small town America. And we have new air ducts in, and they're working all right. They're all right, but they planned it for Tuesday. Tuesday is when we normally record the show. And they didn't get everything done Tuesday, so we had to wait for the next day. And they finished up, and that didn't take as long on Wednesday as I thought it would. But by the time they got here, it would have messed up recording time anyway. So we meant to try for Thursday, and then Thursday came around, and I'm just like, I can't do it. Just my body just could not even. So yeah, and then. But then Friday, and then it could have tried for Friday, but then it's like, you don't want to have like 2 episodes too far apart for these things. So it's like, So it's a bit of that, bit of this, bit of that. Blech.
That's why you got me again.
Yep.
I said that's why you got me again, because of the schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. But, so the last 2 weeks, we're just, the bumper in the front of the show is a big telltale of what's going to be the big major topic of this episode, what you're going to see in the title, what you're going to see in the doobly-doo. But before we get into that, Rosen, how have you been these past 2 weeks?
As good as you can be in these circumstances.
Yeah. Michelle, how about you?
Mostly okay. Still without a job. Still looking, but there's not much out there at the moment. Although we're supposed to be closed. Yeah, lockdown is supposed to be easing soon, so shops will be opening. So maybe something will come up there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I've been trying to get a new microphone. I have a new microphone. Oh, but I need a special power thingy. I have the power thingy. Oh wait, no, you need this cable to help connect it all right. And Gomer already knows all this stuff. So basically, I bought the XLR to USB cable. Mm-hmm. That didn't work, so I have a jack cable on its way, but that won't arrive till Sunday. So hopefully next week I'll be a lot crispier.
Yeah.
If not, I do not know what else to get. I've got everything now.
I should have thought about it when you brought it up with me. What ask Nash?
I don't really have a relationship with Nash, but I guess I could try and reach out to him.
Yeah, because I know he has like a tech talk thing. Not to be confused with TikTok, by the way. Where he talks about like tech stuff and all of that, and I think you should be able to, at the very least, send a question in there, and he can talk about it on that particular live stream when he does it.
So I haven't heard the Tech Talk, because he used to Tech Talk Tuesdays. I used to listening to them, even though I don't fully understand everything he was talking about.
They're on Fridays now, I think.
Yeah.
All right, but I can't even find him on his channel. Has he got his own channel now? Because I did enjoy
them.
They're on Twitch. That's why I'm not catching him anymore.
Yeah. Didn't he do that with somebody else that is kind of an asshole, but also halfway. Yeah.
Yeah, I know who you mean. Like, actually, I can't remember his name now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did do it with he did have a co-host.
Yeah. That's the thing about some people in the online spheres we run in. They could be colossal assholes a lot of the time, but then when it really matters, they are correct and right. So
yeah,
it's one of those things. It's like, man, you're a colossal asshole, but on this, you're on point, man. And that's the important shit.
It's that clickhole article, breaking, the worst person you know has a great point.
Yeah. Except, in fairness, this person is not the worst person we know. We know a lot of worse people than him.
Right, but it's a meme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, speaking of worse people, black people are fucking done. I think they've been done for a while, but the doneness has just boiled over again, because it's boiled over before. We covered Ferguson too. And people were done there. People are done now with the cops basically executing black people for things that people like all of us, we're all white, by the way, will get away with. Like, I can even tie it into the time I got caught in the park. You know, after dark, all of that good shit. If either of us had been black, one of us would have been dead or in prison. That is, when you think about it like that, the situation itself, as I tell it in terms of jokes or whatever, can be hilarious. But there's that underlying, oh shit, if things had been different, if this had been different, that is horrifying. And that is something that black people, and I'm going to specify black people for this, but they're not the only people of color, other minorities that get the raw end of the deal on this. But it is a majority of black people. I say majority of you guys get what I mean, I hope. But so that's what the focus is. In fact, that's even the title of the episode, # Black Lives Matter. So guess what we're focusing on? There you go. So, and this round was started off, again, a cop decided to execute a black guy whose name I tragically do not remember by
George
memory.
Floyd.
George Floyd. Thank you. This is why I have co-hosts. But just executed George Floyd on camera, and he was not the only cop there. There were like 3 other cops, or I want to say 3. 2 or 3 other cops there, stood by, did nothing. And so, of course, they go protest because, hey, this is some fucked up bullshit. And you should be protesting every time a cop executes one of these unarmed black people. This should be a constant thing. And maybe it is in certain areas, and I just don't see it all. But this is definitely one that has taken the nation by storm, basically. Because, not just protests in the Twin Cities, but you also have protests in Chicago, D.C., Jacksonville, Orlando, Portland, Los Angeles, probably Miami, Atlanta, all of these major cities in the United States.
Mm-hmm. And not just there.
Yeah. And protests all over the world, too, because I think there was some...
Tokyo, Berlin, London.
Yeah. So we, not just Americans, but human beings across the planet are like, no, this is bullshit. This needs to fucking stop. And it really does. Because black people have had it rough in this country in particular for several centuries, countless generations. And what do the white people in power do? Oh, just you should have listened to him. You should have done this. You should have been peaceful. Blah 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 blah. No, they get executed whether or not they're peaceful. So if the end result is the same, why be peaceful? If the end result is going to be the same, why put up with it? But these protesters, they go out there and they, by and large, go out peacefully. They go out, they protest, and so what do the cops do? Oh, you guys are uppity. Well, you get the word that usually comes after that when talking about black people, and they start tear gassing them. So
here's the thing: the reason we say all cops are assholes is because those who want to do the right thing are told not to, and thus they quit. So the only way to be a good cop is to stop being a cop.
Yeah. And that was something I shared, I want to say it was on one of my social medias earlier, that the only good cop is an ex-cop.
Yes. Also, for those saying, I've seen cops taking a knee with protests, ask what happens an hour later. Because every time, like, 1 to 2 hours later, they are beating the fuck out of people.
Yes. So, whether they're...
So you may be asking, why do they do this? Propaganda.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They want to show, not all cops are bastards. No, fuck you. No, just no. Just don't even pull the hashtag not all. No. Mm-mm.
We will not fall for this ever.
No, not again. Because some people have, and I probably have at some point in my life too. I'm not immune. In fact, I'm going to say something that actually contradicts something I'm pretty sure I've said on older episodes. Because I remember when Ferguson happened, and I was kind of speaking out against like the looting and the arson and everything, just in general. And my mind frame at the time was it was the protesters doing it because I didn't know better. And I sat there and I poo-pooed them and all of that. That has changed. Because here's the deal.
Now it's literally white supremacists posing as looters trying to stoke the flames of police brutality.
Yeah.
And if you're saying, it's not all them, no. It literally is. You know how? Because there's documented evidence of the protesters stopping the looting.
And here's the thing. And here's another thing. Let's say that there are protesters out there doing the looting, which by law of averages, some might be. Take a look at where they're targeting. No pun intended in at least one case.
Yeah.
Because
big corporations who can afford to replace the shit.
Yeah. So if you have a mind and you are on the side of the oppressed, the people who are still being executed for just being black, because let's face it, that's the core reason, that and power fantasy and power trips. If you are on that side and you decide that looting and arson is a good idea, aim at places that are not small businesses. And if they are small businesses, then better make sure they're funding like police and Nazis and shit before you burn them.
So police,
yeah,
you don't need to clarify. They're the same thing.
No, that's fair.
I'm done giving a fuck.
Yeah, I have heard stories about like Confederate monuments and Confederate markers coming down in like I think Virginia. I think what was it? Daughters of the Confederacy building got torched or something.
Yeah,
and I'm just going to be frank and all of that, and I jerked my happy penis to that one. I'm just going to say that.
You remember the thing I told you I had a setup for, Gomer?
Remind me.
Earlier, before we started recording, I was like, you said something while we were chatting earlier a few days ago that I had a Smash Mouth joke for. Yeah,
I don't know where that is.
You said to me, the world's on fire and I just came.
Yeah? Oh, that's right.
And I finally found to complete the verse, I finally found a second lyric.
Okay, go ahead.
The world's on fire, I just came. That's the way I like it, and my dick is in flames.
Yes. Oh. See,
I really hope that's the cold open.
Well, we don't really do cold opens on this show, so
fair.
But you know what? That is fine. So and a little bit of laughter does help out in the serious time, because as I found, as experienced by me yesterday, if you go too long without some sort of levity, it's not good.
You snap.
Yeah. And yesterday was a big push for me because in the midst of all this, we still have Trump, who is trying to grandstand, show off his show off his plume feathers and all of that bullshit, when in reality he's hiding like a little punk.
Committing war crimes.
Yeah, definitely. And threatening to sick the military on American citizens. And bear in mind, the people he's sicking them on, it's not the cops. He's sicking it on the protesters.
And the people fighting the cops.
Mm-hmm. Which goes to show that when a bunch of us were gnashing our teeth and crying and screaming back when Trump, got the election, he didn't technically win fairly.
Right, but
point being,
not a thing at this point.
There are emails.
Yeah, but here's the point I'm getting to. We all knew this was going to happen.
Oy, I don't think we knew this was going to happen, but fuck.
Yeah, like we all knew. Well, maybe not this in particular.
Yeah.
But this scenario, we knew it was coming. We tried to fucking tell you. Hillary Clinton tried to fucking tell you. And
I don't even like Hillary Clinton, and she tried to tell us.
Yeah, exactly. We tried to tell you fuckers, but no. And in fairness, in terms of the popular vote, we did outvote in the terms of the popular. But the Electoral College, for whatever reason, they decided, the presidency needs to be elected by Electoral College and blah, 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 blah. So
that's like problem number 75 we're facing right now.
Yeah. And we're getting and we're going to get into this does meander a little bit, but it does all tie back into Trump, who over the last few years has been trying to gut protections for pretty much everybody who is not a white straight Christian male and rich. Let's not forget that. And that leads to things like threatening to sick the military on protesters, on black protesters, most likely in particular.
You know what infuriates me?
What infuriates you?
I hate the Republicans more than the Democrats, but I also hate the Democrats because they're letting this happen.
Yeah.
Especially LA Mayor Eric Garcetti, who can fuck right off.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
he's
that's
establishing curfews that are getting people beaten and murdered. You know what the curfew was here?
What was it? 4 p.m.? 4 p.m.?
4 p.m.
Yeah.
But it for a lot of places, it was 6 p.m. Or it got changed to 6 p.m. You know when they found out?
5:59?
5:30 p.m.
Yeah.
And then public transportation was shut down, and then the roads were blocked.
Mm-hmm.
And then the beating started, and then the police chief said that the protesters were responsible for George Floyd's death.
Oh, I did not hear that one. What the fuck? Oh,
yeah, he said the people looting are responsible for George Floyd's death as much as we were.
No. The person responsible for George Floyd's death, in particular, is that one cop that knelt on his neck until he died, and the other cops that just. And the cops that were just watching him and not doing anything, they are complicit. And yes, I am aware one of them is Asian. And guess what? The Asian American community is railing his ass.
Who gives a fuck? People are dying.
Yeah. Just, God. And you mentioned the curfews and all of that. LA is not the only place that has done that, by the way. Seattle has done it. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't like to, as much as shocking as this is, I don't like to shout all this shit from the rooftops, mainly because it upsets my loved ones. I'd like to respect their desire to not see me incredibly angry.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, you just snap, You
gotta let it out sometime, man.
I know.
I mean, and here, and I can understand that. I really can.
And when
as somebody
you see...
Yeah, go ahead.
I apologize. As a Jewish person, I have to do this.
Yeah, do it.
When you see people, I'm trying to organize my thoughts here. When you see Michael Godwin, who, if you don't know, created Godwin's Law, in that once you compare something to Hitler, you lose. Once he said that comparing Trump to Hitler is accurate, that was number one.
Yeah.
Number two. Trump proves that by starting a dictatorship and doubles down on that by creating a police state. Literally a police state.
Yep.
And three, when he's gassing people.
Yeah.
And not just tear gas.
Mm-hmm.
ICE is literally using chemical weapons.
Yeah, because that's the thing.
What part of never again don't you fuckers understand?
Exactly. Because, yeah, that's another thing that's happened. Because the ICE detention centers, I forget exactly where, but it doesn't matter where at this point.
Probably here in California.
Yeah, probably. They're supposedly using some sort of cleaner to continually disinfect or whatever. And the chemical they're using, while not immediately lethal in like if you like just spray it in a room or whatever, they're spraying this in rooms every 15 minutes with poor ventilation.
As someone who has been a cleaner, you don't need to clean anything that often. If you were at your desk and want to wipe your
that would
phone,
kill people.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to clean anything that often.
Yeah, that's why even like here, sometimes we have to like bleach certain things, like dishes or what have you, just to get some stains out or whatever. You know what we do here? We open a window, and even before the air ducts got switched up, our ventilation was not too bad. We take those extra precautions because we fucking know better. These ICE agents, if they know better, they don't give a shit, and that's probably the likely scenario. So they are in essence, as Rosen was saying, they are gassing these people who their only crime was to try and immigrate while not white. That was their only supposed crime, and the air quotes are so big that I think I'm going to break my fingers.
By the way, Gomer, I'm not going to be able to make a curtain call because
the
curfews.
Oh, yeah. See?
Because I have to do groceries before I would get arrested for doing that.
Yeah. So, preview for patrons. He's not going to be here for that. God. Just... So to take it back to Trump again real quick and the bullshit he's pulling, just yesterday, the day before we were recording this, so this was Monday. Or was it Sunday? Sunday or Monday. One of those 2 days. I'm losing track. He decided that he wanted to go over to this church and make a grandstand with a closed Bible and sign Bibles, by the way. He may not have signed them there, but he signed them before. And to do this, he had, I think it was the National Guard, disperse all of the protesters with tear gas. Because, I want to walk over there. No, fuck you. You fucking coward. You walk through them. Is this the
part where I mentioned that a friend of mine got tear gassed in Indy?
Oof.
Oh.
They're right.
Oh. Considering the people that I know in Indy, there's only one person we both know in Indy. I think I know.
It's not him.
Oh, it's not that person. Okay.
No, this is a wrestling friend.
Okay. Different people. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Still. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off, pigs. So... Rosen and I have kind of dominated this for a bit. Michelle, lay your thoughts on us. All of them. Lay them bare.
Okay. First of all, hello. If you're new to the show, this isn't an affected accent. I am a British person living in England. So from my privileged bias, I don't hate cops. I don't think all cops are bastards because I like the cops that I've met and know because, hey, you know what? British cops are nice. And
I was to say, we have this image of like they never left Victorian England.
Well, we actually have this thing called policing by consent, which is basically they're cops because we allow them to be cops. I think that's basically how it works. There was something about a riot or a protest way back, I think 1800s, or maybe more recent, but there was something had happened. I think it was in Coventry, and it went wrong. It went bad, and they said, "Okay, this is not good. We need to sort this shit out." Funny. Sorry, I'm going back to a story that we never actually covered. Remember the shooting event in North Canada, where now Justin has said that we're going to ban all assault weapons? I remember a little while before then when New Zealand had that bad shooting and their PM said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to ban all assault weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Just mentioning that for no apparent reason. So yeah, I don't know the exact details. I probably should have looked it up before the show, but it went bad. People got hurt. People were killed, and then like people said, "Look, the hell, please, he's this is not good. We need to sort something out." And so over time, a process and what have you, we have policing by consent. For anyone who said, "Oh, you British police people do have guns," yes, some British police persons have guns. These are the special trained armed response police persons that have guns. I think they're equivalent to your SWAT. They're the people you call in when shit has gone bad, or in the case of like a live shooter situation, they've come in and like I think the most recent one was London Bridge, where they took a guy out in like 8 minutes. Like that was the whole thing. By the time you heard about the news, it was already over.
Ow.
Yeah, that's how good our police are.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they have like tasers. And I was walking past. It was outside McDonald's, and it was a group of younger people. I'd say like mid to late teens, chatting to a police officer. I'm not sure who's instigated the conversation, but the part I caught was like, "So is that like a taser then? Is that like you can if you got that out, you can electrocute me?" He said, "Oh yeah, that's my taser, and this is like my thing here," and like just go through some of the stuff on his belt. Just talking about the stuff because the kids were curious.
Right.
Like I said, I don't know why they'd approached them in the first place. If the kids had approached the cop, or the cop had approached them just because they were not a largish group, but they were hanging around outside McDonald's.
The only reason that Hot Fuzz is a comedy and not a documentary is the fact that it takes place in England.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that I have, I do believe Black Lives Matter. Actually, on the Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter, yes, Black Lives Matter right now absolutely is Black Lives. However, what I didn't realise, because it's one of those things that you kind of like push to the back of your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Black Lives Matter originally was about 8 years ago, and of course, All Lives came up at the same time as a dog whistle. We understand this. However, what you don't realise, it's 8 years ago. There are people who are now adults that were children at the time, who may not have got understood the situation or got the connotations, but are now saying, "But all lives matter." Okay, sweetheart, sit down. Just let the grown-ups who were grown-ups at the time explain to you. And okay, dear listener, if you think this is me talking about you, probably is, even if you're not the person I'm actually talking about. If someone points out to you that actually saying all lives matter is wrong and tells you the reasons, that is not a personal attack.
Exactly.
It is them saying, "Look, maybe you don't understand, maybe you've misunderstood, maybe you've heard it in the wrong context. Let us explain." Now, I can say before, and I've even put it in my Twitter profile, freedom of speech is not freedom of consequence. That is something I believe. However, if we accept, say if one of us had made a simple error, like we said something and we were misinformed or misunderstanding a situation. There are two ways. Well, there's a gradient of way people can approach us, but for this argument, there's two ways. Excuse me, that's a bit wrong. You've been a bit of a poo-poo head. A little bit childish, but you can have a conversation about that.
Mm-hmm.
The other way is, "The fuck are you on about, you stupid cunt face?" Now, essentially, those two statements are the same statement. The language used in them is very different. People aren't going to react to being called a cunt face the same way they'd be called being called a poo-poo head.
Yeah.
And so I would agree that if people are being more inflammatory in their speech, you can react. So if you're feeling like you're being attacked because of the language being used, I can sort of understand that. It's still not a personal attack. Yeah, okay, depending on which direction the conversation goes, it could become more personal, and I'm not saying I would condone that behaviour. However, you, as the person starting the conversation, and any of the respondents, either, Mr. Poopy Head or Mr. Cuntface, all three of those people have the right to say what they said. That does not change. We do have hate speech laws in the UK, So there are certain speeches that you can't do in a public forum.
Mm-hmm.
But again, technically you still have the right to say them, but if someone overhears you saying it, they can then pull you aside and say, you do realise that what you've just said violates this particular law, maybe you want to rethink that. And if they continue, then it becomes a whole thing, which then becomes a separate conversation. But that is a consequence of freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, that I wanted to get out of the way. The other thing regarding all lives matter, and I've said this before, and again, sort of qualify it, is the equality versus equity. So, I'm going to make a quick note to not mix the colours up. So, everyone, you got 3 people, and they all want 100 beans. So sorry, I'm trying to pick colours that don't have connotations. Right. So the green person has 50 beans.
Mm-hmm.
The blue person has 75 beans, and the violet person has 95 beans.
Right.
Now, equality would necessarily suggest, well, everyone should have the same thing, so let's give everyone 5 beans. Mm-hmm. Well, you've now got the violet person has 100 beans, so they're happy. The blue person has a couple more beans, but they're still got the full thing. The green person still only has 55 beans.
Right.
Now, you could then argue, no, equity says that everyone should get the same number of, they should all have what they need, which means the green person should then get 50 beans, but then the violet person's only getting 5 more beans. But now everyone has 100 beans, and that's as it should be.
Yeah.
In this scenario, Black Lives Matter are the green people. They need more beans right now so that everyone can have the same amount of beans. Is it that hard to understand?
Not at all.
I want some beans now.
Oh no, poor Casey.
So, kids, dear listener, if you were too young to understand when Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter first came about, nobody is actually saying that all lives do not matter. Of course, every life, for the most part, there are given obvious exceptions, both public and probably personal, that you've had in your life, that person you're just like, I'd be happy. I don't necessarily wish harm on you, but I'd be happy if you're never part of my life again.
Yeah.
So yeah, yes, lives matter. Everyone's life matters. Everyone's life is precious. Everyone's life matters to somebody. But right now, Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And as to the Trump thing, because holy crap, that was a lot to cover. As I understand your first 2 amendments, he is holding up the second whilst pissing on the first.
There's also international war crimes.
Yeah.
There's that. But just bringing it down to your laws, as an outsider, understand them, that is what he's doing. He's venerating one while destroying the other.
Yeah.
Well, not even the Second Amendment, because the Second Amendment is like the people, not the police, which is stupid. But all those Second Amendment people are eerily silent right now.
Yeah. Wonder where you guys
are. The
are.
exact thing they were claiming would happen if they didn't have their guns is happening, and they ain't doing shit.
Yeah. Because, as I'm pretty sure I have noted somewhere on this show or on social media, when you see these white Second Amendment gun nuts go around toting, well, you don't need to take away my rights. 9 times out of 10, they're referring to white people needing to have that right. They don't care about black people. In fact, they don't want black people to be armed because they like an easy target.
Yeah.
Because they like targets that don't shoot back, the fucking cowards.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? I
can't believe I'm saying this, but I think we have a bit of unfortunate branding levity.
We do?
I put it in the green room.
Oh, no. So, while we have this, amplify...
wake up, mouse.
Look at who posted that.
Paw Patrol. Okay, for those who are not able to see it, the Twitter account for Paw Patrol,
which for those who don't know is, from what I can gather, because I way out of the demographic, obviously.
Yeah.
Is a Nickelodeon show about dogs who are cops. Boy, is that a hot topic right now.
Yeah?
I think they might. I've seen like some of the artwork for them, like because a lot of the kids around here wear their merchandise. I think they might be all service dogs. So like there's fire and ambulance as well, possibly.
It could be. But the fact is there's still a cop dog.
Yes.
So,
it's just extremely funny looking at all the comments.
Yeah, but before we get to those comments, for those who need some context, the Paw Patrol tweeted out, in solidarity of hashtag amplify melanated voices? Am I reading that?
That has to be what it is.
Yeah. We will be muting our content until June 7th to give access for black voices to be heard so we can continue to listen and further our learning. Hashtag amplify black voices. Which, in and of itself, okay. If this is like somebody's first exposure to this, then you can kind of see it. But as was pointed out, one of those dogs is a cop dog. First reply I'm seeing is, how much will Paw Patrol be donating to bail funds? And another one is, all dogs go to heaven except for those in the class traders and the Paw Patrol.
The Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
That's been a meme for months now.
Yeah. Just, wow.
I love stupid shit like this.
And
like, obviously nobody is saying that a kid's show is inherently the problem with the world today.
Yeah.
It's just really, really funny. The timing of it.
Yeah. Now they tweeted that out 5 hours ago. They have not tweeted out anything else since, which the day we're recording this is Blackout Tuesday, where which
white people have already fucked that up.
Oh, of course. Because of course we do. The whole point of it is to amplify the black voices in all of our communities, especially those that are in most need, those that are protesting especially. Because, hey, guess what? There are resources, and a good chunk of us have at least some sort of reach. And the further we can reach out with, links to resources on how to help, links to resources on just a whole plethora of things, not to mention...
For example...
Yeah.
I will be using the merch table section of today's One Crazy Weekend recording. Instead of, sponsorships or plugging stuff, I'll be using that to promote various bail funds.
There you go. And I won't... And normally when that comes up on One Crazy Weekend, I just put in my own... I need to really update it a little bit, but the promo for this show, and it's like, I'm not even going to do that, since he's going to be doing that, so... Yeah.
Also, the episode that was going to go on Patreon is going to go on Patreon tomorrow.
Yes. So,
but what instead people are doing is just posting a black screen, which is flooding the Black Lives Matter hashtag with black screens, and is essentially hiding information.
Well, no, it's why they're telling them to just put hashtag blackout Tuesday.
That's what we were saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think it's flooding
Sometimes I
both
have to
tags,
explain to
isn't
Casey
it?
because she can't hear our conversation.
Yeah. Well, we heard Casey. We'll be able to hear her.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, when she says something that we accidentally already said, that's why.
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine.
It's fine. I just sometimes you got to explain to the audience because that's the thing about having multiple conversations.
Yes, I have multiple conversations every day.
I guess.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I see how it could be seen as, he's mansplaining to the little lady at home. Like, no, he's not. She just can't hear the entire conversation.
She's not listening to this conversation.
Yeah.
And
but we know that, but yeah.
So now we have to show-splain to the people that might accuse him of mansplaining. I'm glad we have levity.
Oh.
We love Casey. She's adorable.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I was laughing at something and then I realized they were serious and it just made me angry.
Uh-oh. What is it? Go ahead. Lay it on us.
There it is.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Look at the second comment.
So, okay. For context, he sent us another tweet with Facebook screen caps. Some person shared a Facebook post from a group called I Support Law Enforcement Officers. let's see.
And it's a typical Blue Lives shit, but
Yeah.
the great part is someone commented, Blue Lives Matter? All jobs matter. What
Yes.
about the mail carriers and garbage collectors? To which they replied, right, but not all jobs are under attack right now. And at first I was like, it should go on that Missed It by That Much Twitter account, and then someone pointed out, this is why I hate explaining shit to anybody. They get it, they just don't care.
Yeah. And that is definitely proof of that, because again,
Then I got sad.
you know, and the meme in question, because I wanted to give that little bit of extra context too. If you are anti-police, I'm blue family, unfriend me. # Blue Lives Matter.
Yo, listen up! Sorry, when you said I'm blue family, I'm blue.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah. So this person gets the whole idea behind Black Lives Matter, as Rosen pointed out. Just and I'm willing to bet that most people who would pull the All Lives Matter would also understand this.
Are we segueing into what I think we're segueing into?
Possibly. We
before-
will see when we get there.
Well, before we do any segs, I'm becoming friends with a dispatcher who happens to live in one of your states. I'm not going to say too much because I don't know how much he wants me to advertise him. But he's a dispatcher in a small town in a coastal or the coastal states. And he is putting a lot of he happens to be white, and he is putting a lot of Black Lives Matter, and no, this is why, even though I am part, well, his dispatch office is quite small, so I think he does ambulance and fire as well.
Like I'm not,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a problem with that. Like he provides the necessary service.
Yeah.
But he, as someone who is police adjacent, is like, no, this shit's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Like,
you're
he's
saying
doing what he can.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, technically, I guess he could be considered part of the Blue family, but he's not.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that thing I found yesterday about the Antifa Twitter engineer, which legitimately is a thing.
Tell us about this.
Remind us? Yeah.
Okay, so someone at Krulge, that's at CRULGE, posted "This will help," and it's a fake screen cap from Twitter. I was like, enough is enough. This week at Twitter, we're changing blue check marks to black check marks to help our verified users stand against racism. # Black Lives Matter. And that's obviously a fake screenshot. My favorite, the thing that broke me was the reply from @ReplyLord, who I did some research. Apparently, in their bio, they say they are an engineer working for Twitter. And they call themselves the Antifa Twitter user, which was enough to, or Twitter engineer, which was enough to get me to follow them. And they said, @Krulge, dude, I literally work here and had to check if it wasn't true.
Wow.
The thing is, I saw that screen cap, and I'm like, if I hadn't read the comments, I'd be like, how is that going to help? Because some verified users are very yeet.
Yeah.
It's gonna help. It's gonna help in Jack Dorsey's favorite way. It's not gonna help, but it's gonna look like they're trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so okay.
Jack Dorsey is the embodiment of "we've tried nothing and we're all out of ideas."
Yes. So we gotta go to a quick break in a moment, but before we hit this break though, you brought up Jack and Twitter and all of this, and I've taken it upon myself, and I encourage people to do it too. I don't know how well it's going to work. I don't know if it's akin to spitting in the wind. I don't care. But every time Trump makes one of these tweets like, New York City, you should call the National Guard, that sort of thing, or you should when he tries to get people to sick the military on citizens or whatever, report it for abuse.
Yeah.
Oh, I've reported a couple already.
Oh,
There's a few I've reported.
Yeah.
Whether or not it works, that's literally all we can do right now.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing. In terms, there are more things we can do besides just report Trump. And I'm pretty sure that's not what you meant. But
no, I meant in regards to those particular tweets.
Yes. So, but we'll leave this segment saying,
Before,
there are.
Sorry,
go ahead. Oh, were you needing to say something real quick, or
more of an ask, and it's better in this section. Please explain to my lowly outsiderness the difference between, obviously, I know the police and military, but where does the National Guard fit in?
National Guard is pretty much backup military, if I remember right. They're focused more here.
Yeah.
So they're not the boys and girls that go overseas.
No.
So not like a reservist army, like, because we have reserves that like do stuff now and again, like we'll do a lot of ancillary stuff and maybe sometimes go front line if it's needed, but because I've heard of the National Guard before, but I've never really sort of looked into what actually their role is in anything, in doing stuff.
Yeah, it's basically the home force, the ones that don't go overseas. I just refer to them as like backups or whatever, and that might be a little bit of a misnomer because we do have actual reserves too. So
I'm sorry. I just saw a thing that made me so incredibly happy. I can't stop smiling.
What is it? So it's another thing he shared.
Someone used wrestling to take down a cop.
Yes.
I'm almost crying. I'm so happy.
I approve of this.
If they were wearing a Monokuma mask, I think I might have actually died of happiness.
So
all my shit is coming together. It's amazing.
Yes. So okay. Again, before we actually go to break, there are resources out there. There are way too many to list in the doobly-doo. So if you follow any of us on social media, and I highly do recommend it. I know I for sure have been frequently retweeting and reposting and sharing and all of that, at least on Facebook and Twitter. Instagram, I pretty much have left alone because
also I want to make it clear that the person using a double leg takedown to take down the cop is clearly being attacked.
Yes.
So it's not an inciting of violence. It is a response to. It is self-defense.
Yes. So we're gonna make that. So that's with that clarity.
Yeah.
All of the resources, like I was saying, I for one definitely retweet them as frequently as possible. So just keep a look on our Twitter feeds. That is the easiest way to do it because there are so many. There's too many to put in the doobly-doo, and they change up a lot. So just follow us on our social medias. And you're bound to find something. And if you
remember when
help.
Twitter was annoying just because it was stupid?
Yeah.
I miss those days.
Yeah. But,
like I was thinking just the other day, I saw a meme about high school, and I was like, I didn't even like high school that much. High school was okay. I miss a time when the world wasn't going completely to shit, and I didn't have to worry about it all the time.
I know, right?
Sorry, going before we go. I did remember another thing that I wanted to say. That is more related to everything. So again, maybe this is just me being like, privileged and naive, but shouldn't you have got that shit sorted out with Rodney King? Like, I remember Rodney King like vaguely, and the big thing that I kind of remember is that people were not surprised necessarily that it happened, although it was a big thing and it was horrible, and again, blessings to his family, but that the big takeaway surprise was this shit got on camera. Like, someone filmed it, and that's why it got inflamed. We're all carrying cameras in our pockets now, and people are still surprised that this shit's getting on. And like, so the Rodney King killing was filmed, and people were like, holy shit, this has been caught on camera. This is real. We can use this. And then nothing happened. I mean, the riots happened and everything else happened, but nothing happened.
Nothing substantial. No.
Significant. Yeah. Now technology has improved. Everyone can film anything they want to. More stuff, and I'm surprised this hasn't happened before George Floyd, but more stuff is getting recorded, and maybe this one is just particularly insightful because you can hear because sometimes you can see the pictures but not hear the audible, and the fact you can hear him is maybe what's resonating with people as well, or resonating more. But how long ago was Rodney? It's like when 92.
Yeah.
Yep. Like, there's a video, and I'm sure you guys have seen it, of like a group of protesters, all of them black. There's a 46-year-old guy, a 31-year-old guy, and a 16-year-old kid. And the 46-year-old and the 31-year-old, they're just furiously venting their rage at what's going on, how they've had to keep fighting for essentially since the civil rights movement, even though obviously 41-year-olds or 46-year-olds are not that old.
Yeah.
But the point is, they turn to the 16-year-old and they're like, you gotta find a better way than this because this shit isn't working.
Yeah.
But for now, you gotta fight.
Yeah.
And that's really the main message here. After the fight, we need to find a better way. But that's not now. Now we fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can fight, again, the resources I've mentioned. There are people that need help. If you can't get out there physically, they say sign petitions. Petitions, I never put too much stock in, but if you do, go for it. But also donate whatever you can. I've even been able to donate this time around, and I probably will again, even though right now my funding is very limited. But I'm still putting some money where my mouth is and giving money as much as I can. But if you can't do that, share things around. At the very least, retweet things, get the word out there, spread the word. And also against people on social media who might be ignorant, willfully or otherwise, stand up to them. Especially us as white people. We need to stand up and look at these people in the eye, whether physically or virtually, and say, no, motherfuckers, you are wrong. Sit down. Your time has passed. It needs to have passed. White people are not the cream of the crop. We are not the top of the fucking food chain here. In fact, humans, there shouldn't even be a food chain. We should all be equal. Equal opportunity, each according to his means, that sort of thing. The equity was brought up. That's what we need. That's where your true equality will come in, because everybody will have a chance to attain the same thing. Some people may need more help than others, and that's okay. That is okay. But in order to reach that thing, we have to fight to get there. And if you can't go out and march or whatever, then you know what? You can always provide supplies. You can provide information. Because there are people listen to police scanners. In fact, several times on Twitter the past few days, I've seen people tweet out, oh, hey, the cops are moving this way. And, everybody tweets it out and people get warned. So there's that you can do. I've my friend Vi and her husband, they're going to be supplying, I think, at least water to the protesters up in Baltimore. So that's going to be a good thing you can do too. And even if nothing else, even if there's absolutely nothing else you can do, you've always got your voice. Make it heard, like we're doing here. You can get a YouTube channel, you can get a feed on Anchor, you can do all of this, and yes, I am referring to actually speaking out. If that's not an option for you, you've got means to speak out and put your money where your mouth is, whether literally or metaphorically. So I encourage you, fight. It doesn't have to be physical. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to go and Bolivian army a line of cops or anything. You don't have to do that. I think that's the right term for it, but you guys get what I mean, I hope. You don't have to do that, but there are other ways to help. And
take Aaron Hansen, for example.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a Game Grumps episode today because he's focusing on Black on Tuesday, and he's doing it right because he reposted it without the image.
Yeah. I think Rick of the D-Pad also did similar. They're not putting up an actual D-Pad they're not putting up any D-Pad episodes today, but Rick on his own Twitter, and I know I retweeted a couple from that particular thread, saying, hey, you know what? We're doing this in solidarity. This is why, and this is what's going on, and this is where we stand. And they stand on the right side. And for my part, what we're doing today, if I mention anything to anybody, it's going to be on the topic of everything that's going on. Otherwise, it is pretty much all retweets. In fact,
Holy shit!
And we'll get to that we'll get to that live update in a moment. And let me tell you
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Let me tell you how serious that I am also taking it. See, I've mentioned before I am a shiny hunter. And that's what I use my Instagram account for. I'm not using my Instagram account today. Even though I got a shiny this morning. That can wait. That can fucking wait. And it is waiting. So if you follow me on Instagram and wondering why I haven't Insta'd today, that's why. You know, I don't do Insta other than like the stuff. And plus, I can refer you back to the post that I did make a few days ago with my little sprite image or whatever. And it's pretty much the same thing. It's like, hey, these are the people that need the focus. You know, my shinies can wait. They can wait a day or two. And that's fine. You know, now privately, that's a whole different story. Of course, I share it with everybody privately. But publicly, on the social media, it can wait. Y'all can wait. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take our break. When we come back, we're going to have... I did manage to grab a couple of news stories we can talk about.
Yeah, so, I have a feel-good thing. That'll take 2 seconds if you want.
Yeah, so hold off on that feel-good thing. We'll put it in the second half. Okay. So we'll be back. The show in a moment, but first I want to tell you about Patreon. Patreon is what I use to get around all of the YouTube adpocalypse bullshit, and while I don't have a lot right now, every little bit does help. And if you like what you hear or what you see on any of my videos or podcasts, head on over there. For as little as $1 a month, you can get all of these things early before anybody else does, and you can get them completely ad-free. Yeah, I know YouTube right now is technically ad-free, but at some point I'm probably going to get big enough to where ads will start coming in, and those can be annoying, so you want to avoid that, right? If you go ahead and go now over to patreon.com/gomer21xx, leave $1, $5, doesn't matter how much, you can get all of these. Again, you can get them early, and you get them without ads, even when I reach the point on YouTube to where ads can be put on these videos. So it's a win-win. And you can even avoid the ads that go up on the Anchor versions that go out to all of the other websites that are out there. No ads. It's great. So that's patreon.com/gomer21xx. Howdy, folks. And, yeah, this week is a hell of a one. Because, you know, we didn't do one last week, so we didn't really have a chance to have much of a breather between the last episode and this one. At least in terms of, like, really heavy shit going on. But I do want to make myself clear in this particular segment, which I'm actually recording before the show, instead of after the show, for a little inside baseball for you guys. But I do want to make absolutely clear that all of these protesters, all of the things going on, it should be obvious, but I'm going to reiterate, I do support the protesters, Black Lives Matter, etc., etc., etc. And I, at this point, at the time of the recording, I don't know how much of the episode all of this is going to take, or if it takes the whole episode, because a lot has happened. And what that means, you know, for us, I mean, yeah, we're going to keep track of the news, and this particular one, this episode, is most likely going to be mostly about the horrible, which, as somebody who wants to, you know, entertain at the same time, it makes it difficult to do so. But I just, yeah, this is probably going to end up with me repeating myself, because I probably have said some of the same things in the main show. I probably will. But, you know, just, if you're somebody who is out there, who you're able to get out there and protest and stand with everybody, good. If you can't, there are so many other ways. You can sign petitions, you could donate money to jail bond funds, you could spread the word around, you can get supplies, you can give rides. There are so many options to help these people who are protesting because they're tired of being executed. And that's what it is. They're being executed for things that we as white people get away with. You know, with either a slap on the wrist or otherwise don't get killed or severely beaten for the things that black people do. And I'm going to say it again. I'll probably say it again when I record the main show. Black people are being executed for things that they have no business being executed for. And it's on these cops. And I'll say it here too. Fucking pigs and the white supremacists. They're the ones instigating. They're the ones who think that they're so high and mighty and special that they have to use force to make people see their way. And let me tell you something. Do riots happen? Yeah. Yeah, they're going to happen. But I'm going to tell you this. From what I have seen, for the most part, it's been instigated by the whites and the pigs. And the white pigs. You know, breaded eggs. So, again, follow the Black Lives Matter hashtag on Twitter. Get all the information if you want to help out. If you're somebody who follows it just to instigate them, piss off. And if you're one of those people who wrings your hands more for the property damage and the potential death of businesses, two things. One, fuck you. You're focusing on that besides the fact that people are dying. Again, black people being executed, larger problem than somebody losing their livelihood, which they can regain. And let me tell you something. There are people out there who, when they see like local businesses being shut down or being attacked or what have you, they're going to raise money to help them. Okay? There will be help for them. If not through the government, then people who believe in that business, who want to help that business succeed and thrive. And again, I am talking small businesses, like bona fide small businesses, your mom and pop shops type thing. If it's a corporation, fuck it, they can rebuild. They got the money. So, but I've said, and I'm going to say more things that are likely going to be inflammatory throughout this episode. Just know that where we stand, and I'm pretty confident I can speak for all of us, where we stand, Black Lives Matter, power to the people, fuck the police, fuck Trump, that fucking narcissistic authoritarian asshole. And hopefully next week we can at least try, or maybe even this week. Again, I'm recording this before we record the actual episode, so we'll see what the second half brings. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you on the rest of the show. And we are back from our break. And yeah, as I noted in my segment, I actually recorded that before we did this episode. It's going to be an interesting way how it's going to turn out. Oh dear. And yeah, I probably repeated myself in the segment. So, and you know what? Sometimes some things bear repeating. But before we get into our news, I just want to point out something that Becky shared in one of the channels on Rosen's Discord server. She found a screen cap of a Tumblr post. So we're going from one sort of...
It's always a good sign.
Yeah. One sort of dumb fuckery to another. And fair warning, as I get into this, I will be reading it verbatim, and there are a couple of words that are not good. So, but I'm reading it.
This may be a time for a funny voice, just to take away from the person's seriousness. Okay.
Oh, I will. Just letting you guys know there will be a couple of words that are a little. So bear that in mind. You have been warned.
A little bit of the troubly.
Yes. Cisgender. This is your term for me. Your stereotype, your aggression. When you have been called it all. Fag, queer, whatever. Well, now I speak. I am not gay. I am not bi. I am not a man. Or unsure. I am not your words. I am not cisgender. I am a woman. I love a man. But that doesn't matter, because my name is Olivia.
You sound like broken Matt Hardy.
That works. Whatever works. First of all, as as somebody who has written and studied things like this, your poetry just sucks on a basic level, because it's just no.
It's just shitty.
Yeah, just from the structure on up, and I do love the response to this. I'm crying. Cis people are writing emo poetry about how cisgender is a slur. Okay. As somebody, and I think all three of us are cisgender.
Yes.
Correct? Yeah. Okay. And I think I can speak for all of us when we say, that's not a fucking slur, you assholes!
No.
You say that, but my partner, who's so anti-label anything, he got really uppity when I told him he was cis.
Yeah.
And I even asked Google, and literally the definition of cis is not trans.
Yeah.
Well, there's nuance, but that's what it boils down to. Not trans. The opposite of trans is cis.
Yeah. It just means that your body, your body accepts and agrees with the gender you were assigned at birth.
Yeah. It's
basically
not difficult to understand.
No, it's not.
And yet.
Not, yeah.
And yet.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah. Fucking cisgendered motherfuckers.
That goes for all of us.
Yeah.
Cis and proud, bi and proud, whatever.
Yeah, and the part in the middle, I am not gay, not bi, not a man. Okay, yeah, you're a woman writing this. That's fine. You don't, I'm not gay, I'm not bi either. But you know what? Being called heterosexual or straight or anything like that, along with cisgender or what have you, those aren't slurs. No. It's not slurs. Sorry. You don't get to do that. No.
Nope.
No. Nonetheless, every person calling you that is doing that while like beating the shit out of you with a baseball bat or something. Then there's not that connotation is not there, is what I'm getting at. So yeah, I wanted to point that out because that's just so fucking stupid. So. Well, I know, Rosen, you mentioned a happy thing. We'll save that for the very end so we can try and end on a high note.
Okay.
But our first news story comes out of Alberta. I believe that's what AB stands for. If somebody who actually knows Canadian provinces, please correct me.
It comes out of
wrong.
my abs. My non-existent abs.
Yes. So
thanks to the Aber 2000. You'll be all up odds. Okay,
yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the day this comes out will be just under a month since the most recent May the 4th, Star Wars Day.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
Yeah. And this is not about whiny Star Wars fanboys.
Thank you, God. Okay, go ahead.
No. even though I will say, John Boyega, we love you, man.
Yeah, fucking baller right there.
Yeah. So, anyways, this is out of Lethbridge, Alberta. May the 4th is widely known among fans of the sci-fi series as Star Wars Day, and thus a local business themed around the franchise wanted to put on a promotion to celebrate it. Oh, yeah, that's all well and good. By the way, Star Wars is more like space opera, but semantics. Yeah. Cocoa Vanilla Galactic Cantina owner Bradley Whalen told LNN that it very quickly went off the rails and put one of his employees in serious danger.
Oops.
God.
We had music playing in the parking lot. We had one of our staff dress up as a stormtrooper, kind of waving to people walking up and down the road. And we had people stopping by and getting pictures with the stormtrooper, but a couple of promotions on in the restaurant to entice the people to come. Hey.
Sounds fun.
The phrase, we had him dressed up as a stormtrooper.
Yeah. I mean, we know what it means in the context of this.
But yeah.
Yeah. It's like, ugh. But that's not the fault of this coffee
that
shop
one's
owner.
on Lucas.
Yeah, that's not the fault of these guys. The female employee arrived for work at 10 a.m. on Monday, May 4th, went out in full costume around 20 minutes later. He believes that the owner, believes that some members of the public must have seen her brandishing a plastic toy blaster, believing it was a real gun, and phoned police. Lethbridge Police Service Inspector Jason Walper Waylon and Walper. Waylon and a Walpin and a Walpin and a Waylon. Okay. Says they got two 911 calls regarding a firearms complaint near the business. At approximately 11:20 a.m., 3 police cruisers arrived and a truck followed shortly thereafter. We didn't need that much firepower. In the video, Waylon came outside after hearing the officers shouting at the employee. He could be heard telling the officers that the girl in the costume only has a toy gun. Officers tell Waylon to get back in his building. Police officer says, draw his gun, pointed at my employee. They were yelling at her to put the gun down, so she threw the plastic gun on the ground. Hey, she complied. At that point in time, when I came out, she was on her knees kneeling down on the ground. Police had already checked and seen that the gun was plastic, so they already knew that there wasn't an issue or a risk there. And yet, they still made her get on her knees. Video shows that the girl did drop the gun to the ground when told to do so. Walper offered a different account of the officer's initial encounter with the employee. Walper is the cop. At the time he spoke to the media about the incident, he had not fully reviewed all of the details, but claims the person did not comply with the police verbal directions. Eventually, they did after multiple repeated orders given by the police officers. She complied? What was your initial instruction? Was it clear and concise, or was it get out, go? Was it that? Because that's the only way you could have done that within that time frame. After she got on her knees, Walper adds that the officers then pushed the individual down to the ground and put her into handcuffs, which is unnecessary. As a result of being pushed to the ground, the employee had a bloodied nose. Neither Waylon nor Walper could confirm if she'd suffered any other injuries. The employee could be heard crying out on the video, and there were blood stains on the concrete. According to Waylon, it took an extra few moments for the employee to get down because of the costume itself. She kept yelling at them that she couldn't kneel down because in that stormtrooper costume, you can't even sit down in it. Like, it's impossible to sit down.
I'm just going to say this, if you get it, you get it. It's totally impossible to bend at the waist in this thing.
Yeah, basically. She kept telling them that she couldn't get down, is what she explained to me after we talked to her. It wasn't a matter of her not wanting to cooperate, Waylon continued. She dropped the gun when they told her to, and just forcing her, making her get out on the ground after they determined that she wasn't a risk, and that the gun wasn't even a real gun, it was plastic. It was a plastic Star Wars blaster. It goes on a little bit, and there is an update at the end of this article. The LPS is set to launch a quote-unquote service investigation into the Star Wars Day Stormtrooper arrest.
But it's internal, so nothing will happen.
Yeah, even in Canada. So, yeah. This is why they riot, by the way. Because of shit like this. It doesn't say whether or not the girl was white or black. At this point, it doesn't matter. In this instance, it doesn't matter. Because these are cops that, especially one in particular, that is using his position to just exert power over somebody for whatever reason. Maybe he's impotent and that's the only way he can get a boner. I don't know.
It's the American way.
In Canada.
American way in Canada. Well, hey, you know what? Continent's America, so...
Yeah.
So, it counts. But just, god damn, man. The situation was under control. There is no reason, none, to push somebody to the ground like that. No reason. She dropped the gun. You assessed it. There is no threat. You should have just given her back the gun. Or at the very least warn her, hey, maybe don't do this. And went on about your day. You didn't need 3 police cruisers! And to all of the people who called in the cops, what the fuck is wrong with you? Seriously, this is Star Wars. Their guns look a particular way. Most people, no matter where you are, unless you're like in an Arkansas Walmart or something, you're not going to be seeing people carrying guns like that out in broad daylight. Again, unless you're in an Arkansas Walmart. I don't know why I'm choosing Arkansas. It just came to me. So, and even if that was a normal thing in that city, that doesn't justify all of these people saying, hey, we got this thing here. Do you not know what a Star Wars stormtrooper looks like? Do you not know this? Cultural osmosis would have hit at some point.
Yeah.
Because Star Wars is that big. There is no excuse for these Karens who called in this thing. And yeah, I'm gonna say, it's like some Karens who either don't know any better, or don't care, or just bitches.
There are some smaller films and franchises that I have never watched that I get certain references from, just from cultural osmosis. Or my friends talking about it.
Yeah.
This is Star Wars!
Like shit, like there are a lot of films that, in the same vein. Like, I haven't seen Labyrinth.
Really?
Yeah, I've never seen Labyrinth. I really should get around to it. I've also not seen any of the Ghostbusters movies.
Well, on the subject of Labyrinth, have you seen that? Have you seen what happened to Hoggle?
I have not seen what happened to Hoggle.
Because I just found this today, and I figured I have a segue for everything, always.
Yes.
Look at this.
So it's one of those my plans in 2020 thing. You have Hoggle, right?
Hoggle,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. On the left is Hoggle, and then later on is the costume that's kind of broken down a bit.
Animatronic, I think, but...
Yeah. Animatronic, that's right.
It was the one I'm thinking of. That was a thumbnail for a program where they said actually they have fully restored Hoggle. I haven't watched that video yet because damn, that thumbnail's creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, just Jesus.
Yeah. So
that's a Five Nights at Freddy's animatronic right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
But even I understand at least some of the references from those movies from just cultural osmosis. That's right, sir. This man has no dick.
Yeah.
I know that's from Ghostbusters. And the ghost trying to give what's his name a blowjob or whatever. I know that. I know that particular reference. Show this prehistoric bitch how we do things downtown. There you go. Again, never seen the movies. I get the references.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I get the feeling just like knowing about Ghostbusters is better than you watching Ghostbusters at the moment.
Maybe.
It's kind of weirdly libertarian in a weird way.
Maybe, but
because it's all about three guys fighting against the government that wants to shut them down.
Yeah,
it's a weird thing that needs.
And also, there's a black guy.
Yeah,
I will say, still a hysterical movie, but it's kind of hard to watch it without noticing that nowadays.
Yeah, although in fairness, they do literally fight ghosts.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would say there's probably some justification, but I see where you're coming from. Again, no knowledge. Again, not seeing them, only going by my knowledge from pop culture osmosis.
Like, then again, I'm the guy who likes Ghostbusters better as a world anyway than as a movie.
Yeah.
Like my favorite Ghostbusters thing is the RPG, which needs to come back in print.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we tried that out a few years ago. That was cool.
Yeah. It was fun.
Oh, so do you guys have any additional thoughts to this? We'll start with Michelle on this one.
Well, as you were saying and talking, you said what are the reasons? There could be no reasons. I actually had got the song in my head and I double checked. So there should be no reasons because there are no reasons. What reasons can you really be? Oh. And I checked. May the 4th this year was on a Monday.
Oops.
Tell me why I don't like Monday.
Oh.
But other than that, what? I think someone in the conversation was like, don't they have those big bright orange chips so that they're... And again, I don't know...
I don't
know from Canadian Police. So I don't know if they're like our police where they have an unarmored response rather than just everyone has a gun on their holster. The only thing I could think of, again, going back to my speech earlier about Trudeau having, actually banned assault rifles, maybe from a distance, if they were holding it in such a way that you couldn't see the bright orange tip, maybe they could have thought it was some kind of assault rifle if they didn't recognise it.
Right.
But again, this is a person in a big classic white costume.
Yeah.
in front of a store which presumably has other Star Wars paraphernalia and is named, is punned after the cantina.
Yep.
There was possibly a
Shit's
wavy
really
person
dumb.
and another decoration and flyers and they were just. I go back to my Boomtown reference. I just Boomtown rats. Just yeah. I know, but it did make me laugh. That hang on, let me double check. Oh no, it was on Monday.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I celebrated my I celebrated Star Wars Day this year by watching Rise of Skywalker for the first time because we, for various reasons, but mostly during it because it's over Christmas, we missed it at cinema.
Yeah.
It's just a depressing movie. Like more than anything.
I mean,
whether you like it or you hate it,
I
it's
think
just
most
depressing.
yeah. I mean, I personally enjoyed it. I saw it in the theater. I had fun with it. I thought it was cool. But, not everybody's going to agree. And that's okay. Nobody is ruining your childhoods. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah, well, before we move to the next story, what do you have to say about this one, Rosen?
I'm trying to think of something. McClunky. There we go.
Oh, God.
Read about shit.
Yeah. So our only other story this week comes out of Elgin, Texas, or Elgin. Somebody from Texas, please correct me.
Jesus.
I can pronounce
Why
the
can't
county.
I get one thing named Elgin that's not terrible?
That's the thing about me. I can pronounce the name of the county that San Antonio resides in perfectly. Helps that I lived there for a while. But some of these other names, just what the fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
So while all of this is going on, we still have the coronavirus going around. So you should be wearing your mask no matter what, and not just so you can protect your identity when you're out protesting the cops, but also to help stem the flow of the coronavirus. So that's still going on. No entrance with a mask. Yeah, take a moment. Yeah. A local tavern in Elgin has banned its customers from coming in covered up. The statement posted outside the tavern reads, "Due to our concern for our citizens, they feel they need to wear a mask and they should probably stay home until it's safe. I think it's a risk. I think that's foolish," said Elgin local Ross Owens. "They're taking chances they don't need to take, especially if they're in public service." According to a 2018 census, the city of Elgin has a little over 10,000 residents. Since the start of the coronavirus pandemic, the city has reported that 52 of those residents have tested positive for COVID-19. On Elgin's Main Street is where we find a popular tavern banning masks. It is more of a pushback. The snitches and the contract chasers out there, said Kevin Smith, co-owner of the Liberty Tree Tavern. Obviously not that Kevin Smith. This is still a rural county. Hey, guess what? Jackson County, Florida, where I'm at, it's mostly rural out here. The closest we have to a good urban center in Jackson County is Marianna. And even then, it's still relatively rural out here. But you know what we're doing? We're still wearing our masks! That's what we're doing! In fact, I bought some masks from Mel, whose shop for masks is always going to be in the description until otherwise noticed, until further notice. I bought a few, and she sent free ones because she is good people, and thus I bought a mask for my mom, and she sent one extra, so I gave that to my dad, and so my dad wore that when he went out. He does grocery shopping at like one of the military bases nearby because, hey, retired military. And he came back one time and he's like, "You know what? That mask saved my ass. Thank you." So we still do it up here. Mm-hmm. So, and even though I still see people around not wearing the masks, but there's also people, nobody is saying, "Hey, don't you dare." There's nobody up here saying, "You cannot come in if you're wearing a mask." There's nobody saying that. Not here.
Here, you actually can't go outside not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And you know what? Good!
Yeah.
Fucking good! Why? I stopped myself before
Yeah, that's fair. So
Again, to quote Aaron quoting Patton Oswalt, I think it is, I let that go. I don't have 4 hours.
Yeah. So Smith says he's still following social distancing guidelines as set in place by the Center for Disease Control. Since Liberty Tree Tavern shut down, Charles Chamberlain has been eagerly waiting for it to open back up. He says he's not fazed by the tavern's posting. Of course not, because you're probably only want to go in there and get drunk. Let's find out. I'm a stage 4 cancer survivor. It's just a choice. You just put up that there. You just put that up there. Wrong form of there. They wrote in there. Who edited this? To let people know if they aren't feeling good, then maybe they shouldn't come, said Charles Chamberlain. Everybody is keeping safe distances. They aren't bunching up. But here's the thing, though. If you're in an enclosed space, even if you're social distancing enough, that still gets around and circulates a little bit more.
It still can live on surfaces for several hours.
Yeah. So there's still a risk. That's why you wear the mask. Not to protect thee, but to protect... No, not to protect me, but to protect thee.
That's why we wear the mask.
Yeah, there you go. Along Main Street, you'll find other businesses requiring masks, while others are asking you to wear them at your own discretion. The ones requiring masks, they're good. I don't know anyone personally, and I know a lot of people that's got the virus or has died, said Cheryl Shire, owner of ETX Travel in Elgin. Cheryl Shire is not a mask wearer, but does have them on hand for her customers. People are just comfortable. We are a small town. We don't have a lot of crowds. We are okay. Any bars that reopen are supposed to keep in-person service at 25% occupancy, but there are no outdoor occupancy limits at any bars that do have a patio area. There sounds like a loophole to me. So this right here, I don't know anyone personally that's gotten the virus or has died. That line right there, that quote, that just tells me that just because, well, I don't know anybody, so what's
not
the big
my
deal?
problem?
You motherfucker. And in full disclosure, I do know somebody who has gotten the virus. He is recovered. And he is okay, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But whether or not I do does not matter. Because the whole point is to protect everybody, including your stupid silly ass, including my dumb ass, including everybody's asses.
Yep.
That is the point. It doesn't matter if you don't know anybody who's gotten it, or if you yourself has never gotten it. It doesn't matter. It's called a precaution. Because we are trying to prevent this from getting out of control and potentially killing off more people than it needs to be. Which, by the way, as of this episode, the coronavirus cases, I think is it cases or deaths that's hit over 100,000. I want to say deaths, but I want to be absolutely sure.
In America, I believe it is 100,000 deaths. Yeah, we're at 46, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, over 100,000 deaths in this country from something that, by all intents and purposes, can be controlled at the very least by us just saying, "Hey, let's keep our distance for a bit. Wear a mask if we have to go out, or even if we want to go out. Keep your distance, and everything would be relatively okay. Wash your damn hands. That's it. That's all you have to do." But no! Too many fucking people in this country or just, I need a haircut, or I want to go to the beach, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. Like,
To paraphrase Friends, only dogs can hear you now, Gomer.
Apparently! Just,
sorry,
goddamn.
I had to.
Rosen, what do you got to say?
I don't fucking know, man. Like, what do you say to this?
Is this one of those times where I pretty much said everything that needs to be said?
Yes.
Did I do that?
I think so. No. I feel I should say, in the UK there isn't a strict mask policy. As I said before, all non-essential businesses are still shut. are the essential ones that have stayed open, like the supermarkets, like the chemists. They have, obviously, and what they've been doing is, I don't know if it's one in, one out, or they've been tracking people coming in, so you can't have so many people. You don't have so many people at once.
Yeah.
So there are less people physically in the stores. Not everyone wears a mask. To be honest, I don't, but I don't go out very often at the moment.
Yeah.
I do feel bad about it. I feel like maybe I should, but when I'm going past someone, I will put my head down and away from them. So I will face away from someone if we can't avoid each other.
Right.
But at the same time, nobody is mocked for wearing a mask. Nobody says anything to anyone. And when, like I said, we're having the easing of the lockdown, and then what they have been saying, and I don't know the exact policies, but they're saying, look, you can start opening, but you need to put certain things in place, presumably similar to what the shops that stayed open have been doing, and which presumably would include like a queuing system, like that would assist with social distancing, maybe a one in, one out policy for them, like for their capacities. And I guess they would individually, the stores would put up signs saying, please wear a mask, or, or find one or leave one on the doorstep, and we'll provide one. I don't know what the policies are going to be, but yeah, nobody in the UK is that I have seen is like, nobody's mocked anyone for wearing masks. Nobody said anything about people wearing masks. Some people are, some people aren't. That's the thing. Nobody's mocking people for wearing masks, and that I've seen, nobody's had a go at people for not wearing a mask. We're just kind of like get on with. I think we're too polite to say anything. And some people have been other British YouTubers that I watch are a bit annoyed about people not wearing masks, and that's fair enough. But to actually say if you are wearing one, then I mean the closest I can relate is when I used to work at an entertainment store. We had, and this is especially in banks as well, this is a policy. They ask riders to take their helmets off because so they can be seen on cameras.
Yeah.
And we've asked people to take off their hoodies and hats and stuff so their faces aren't obscured like that.
Yeah. So
policies like that were in place, so you can be seen on security cameras in like places where there's more high-end goods. I don't know how mask wearing would affect that, but I don't think they're going to be like, you have to wear a mask, or to say that you should not wear a mask to come into this business loses my business. I ain't going in there. I'm not doing it. I don't care if I'm really thirsty and I just want to say, oh, this looks like a quaint little pub. Let's go in here and check it out and have a quick glass of water, lemonade, beer, whatever. And they're saying, don't come in if you're wearing a mask. I ain't going in that place. Not right now. So I think if places are saying, we don't care, no, name and shame. Don't go into those business. Just don't bother.
Yeah.
And the other thing, if I understand how the R rate works properly, aren't you going to be more likely to have to create a higher R rate in a small town with a smaller community? Because you're going to be, everyone's closer together to infect easier. Their R rate is going to go through the fuck. If their R rate goes even above 1, they're going to be screwed.
Yeah. And the thing that about small towns, and I know this, I live small town, we do go to larger cities every now and then because there are things we just can't get here. Like I just mentioned, my dad goes to one of the nearby military bases because, he can get things cheaper there.
Yeah.
Perks of being a vet, And there's one near Panama City, Florida. Panama City. Big city, bigger city. Not necessarily as big as some other cities, but it's bigger. And it's got Panama City Beach right there next to it. Those combined, probably about, I want to say the size of maybe at least Tampa if you put them together. I might be overestimating a bit, but it's not a small area. And if you have just one chucklefuck go in there with the COVID, not taking any precautions, that's going to get to other people. And that's going to spread around there. And that's not going to be good. So, again, wear your damn masks. It's not hard. And and there is something else a friend of mine did bring up, that there are some people, if they wear a mask, it like drops their oxygen levels a little too low, and it actually happens to her, and I have no reason to disbelieve her. So, so if you have an issue wearing a mask, like that, then take other steps if you can. If nothing else, there are people out there who will help you.
Like I find it hard to wear masks because it fogs up my glasses. I still do it, but it's just a pain. But I do it anyway.
Yeah,
I have a nasal issue that when I have had to wear a mask when I've been cleaning or whatever, that has caused me problems. But usually, if I'm wearing a mask because I'm cleaning, I know I'm going to keep that mask, which is going to be worse for me.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And I will say something about Mel's masks too. If you wear them in the wintertime, they are very functional. I'm just gonna say that. So, and maybe it's just me, but I deal with it. We all deal with it in some way. Again, if you legitimately cannot wear it for medical reasons or whatever, then okay, we will. The rest of us can accommodate. And we mean legit medical reasons, not some of you stupid MAGA fuckers sitting there and be like, oh, I have this thing. Oh, what's your medical reason? It's just not comfortable. No. Discomfort is not a valid reason. Okay?
I don't actually have a valid reason. I admit that. I just haven't worn one.
Yeah. Yeah. And fogging up your glasses. Again, not a valid reason. Rosen just said, fogs his up. He still does it. Follow his example. That's literally all you need to do. Oh, so speaking of Rosen, you have a lighthearted story to round us out with.
I have two.
You have two. Woo. Bring them on.
Stephanie Beatriz, who plays Rosa Diaz in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, has urged every every actor who plays a cop to follow in her footsteps and donate $11,000 to bail funds.
Nice.
Ooh.
And the Humble Bundle just announced they're starting a $1 million fund to help publish games by Black developers.
Ooh.
Cool.
I approve of both of these.
Yeah.
So,
I have a kind of a shout-out kind of thing. I know we don't really do shout-outs at the moment, but I don't know, maybe you've already heard of this channel. I recently discovered it, and it is called Milky Boki. Milkyboki.
Okay.
They're changing it to Milky Boki Tan because they've got a new kitten, and it's basically these Korean guys have a Samoyed dog, big fluffy white thing. What cat is GB? Sorry, I'm looking it up. Yeah, the dog's a Samoyed. The cat is a Norwegian forest, and both are super, super fluffy.
Yay!
And they've recently rescued a ginger tom called Tan, who is just a tiny, tiny little fluff. And it's basically 3 to 10 minute videos of the animals just going around. They did the subtitles in both Korean and English, so that you can see what's going on. And it's just cute and pure and adorable and fluffy. And check it out because it'll make you feel happy. It's just a nice little bit of calm.
Yeah. There's also this channel, I forget the name of it right off the bat, but it's one that Becky has introduced us to. Is the guy that owns a whole bunch of Shiba Inu dogs and little puppers. Little puppets. Oh, they are so adorable. But with that, we are going to go ahead and get out of here for this week. A long-ass episode. I'm looking at my recording timer, and it's at 1 hour 45.
Yeah,
so,
I gotta go do stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. But patrons, stick around for a curtain call. Hopefully, like a day or two after this goes live on Wednesday. Hopefully, we should have something. Fingers are crossed. Because after this, I've actually got to run and do a thing myself, so we can't do it immediately after, like I like to do. But that's okay. So if you're a patron, hopefully we will have a curtain call for you this week. If not, we'll make it up for you next week. Yeah, and part of my brain is like, well, didn't you mention the curtain call earlier in the show? That's what happens when you have a long show. Things change. Oh, but yeah. So if, speaking of patrons, I know on the public versions you get the spiel, but I'll mention it here again. Patreon.com/Gomer21XX, because in spite of everything else, we still need to get to a point where we can keep the lights on with this thing, because I've only got so much reserves before things start going caca.
Yeah.
So yeah, and while I will give whatever reserves I feel I can safely to the causes, it's a finite source, and any help you guys can give, first and foremost, give to the protesters and all of that. First and foremost, I'm going to stress that. But if you have some to spare for us here, to keep this show going and for me to be able to do other shows, and all of that good stuff, patreon.com/Gomer21XX. Again, if you have any to spare for us, go for the protesters. Help them first. They need to come first. But we've got our own bills to pay too. But in terms of that, Rosen, where could we find you on the social media?
Rosen_Thorn on Twitch and Twitter. No underscore for the Patreon, but all of them have an E at the end.
Yeah. And Michelle, where can we find you?
You can find me on the Twitters and the YouTubes at Phoenix11, or just Phoenix11 on YouTube. That's PHEONIX11.
And as for me, I've actually got a link, one of those little link tree things. And what it does is it gives you one link, and you click on it, and you can put however many links to your stuff in there as you need. I've seen a lot of models and sex workers use it for their stuff, but it could be used for other things too. And I highly encourage it if you are somebody like me who has a lot of social media accounts and all of that. So, that link is in the doobly-doo, and but if you're just listening, it's linktree/Gomer21XX. There is a dot between the TR and the EE. So you just click on that, and it'll take you all of my links, the website, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook page, both YouTube channels, both my main one and my and the Thespian Talk one. It's one for the site. It's all in there. Again, that's linktr.ee/Gomer21XX. And that shortens my spiel too. And of course, I'm going to encourage Becky to get one too, but her stuff is in the doobly-doo. She does the lovely artwork. That is the title card for this show, and she does really good work. And in fact, she is actually going to be revamping and redoing the first few chapters of her comic Otherworldly, just to kind of retcon a few things and redo some of the artwork, because she has definitely improved over since she first started. And it's so nice. It's so cool hearing her go on about it while she's doing it, and it's like, you improved, and she's like, I've improved so much, and I'm like, yay! I am too proud.
Yay.
So with that, we are going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for bearing with us throughout this probably close to hour and a half to 2 hour episode once everything gets edited down. We will catch you next time. Until then, this is Gomer the Ranting Thespian with Rosen, Thorn, and Michelle, signing off.
Bye.